What is it with these Democrats? They seem to lie all the time. It comes so easy to them.
When you put it in its totality, you will see that it will bring down, lower the deficit.
Oh, sure, that's a lie. We all know that. But when they lie, they get what they want, right? That's not news. But what is news is when those lies cost you, American taxpayers, nearly $1 trillion. And the idea that this monster tax and spend bill, now law, will reduce inflation is an insult to every American. Watch the incompetent-in-chief signing ceremony just a few hours ago. How nice of Joe to bust away from his 7th day on vacation. I mean, who gets 7 days off in a row? Me? I've taken exactly 3 days off since I came to Newsmax 14 months ago. True story. So, yeah, look at old Lance Armstrong there biking on that South Carolina beach for 7 days while the country burns. It burns me up. Americans are struggling with money, struggling to take care of our families. We actually look at the price on the gas pump. Joe Biden, we are struggling to pay rent and afford school supplies. 7 days off. And get this, after these political criminals steal nearly $1 trillion of your money, they're going to throw a party. I kid you not. There's a Democrat bill signing party planned for Inflation Reduction Act signing. And like a good president, Biden will head back to Delaware to continue his vacation. Pick up where he left off, because in his condition, working an hour or so, signing away your money takes a lot of dwindling energy. So yeah, vacation for 7 days, sign a piece of paper, get back to the beaches, Joe, and chocolate chip.
Mr. President, what did you order?
Chocolate chip.
I mean, the man needs his ice cream, right? It's not like easy to lie like a criminal constantly. Remember when Biden promised there would be no new taxes for people making under $400,000 per year in that bill? No, he said it over and over again.
And I'm keeping my campaign commitment. No one, let me emphasize, no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in federal taxes.
And he even had his favorite clueless clown say it over and over and over again, too, because Karine Jean-Pierre is so in command of the numbers and policy and the numbers.
And we have been very clear on that, how important it is to close that loophole and make sure that we're not increasing taxes on middle-class Americans that are making less than $400,000.
They even put in writing. Here it is, the Inflation Reduction Act, by the numbers, their numbers, of course, right on whitehouse.gov. So apparently, no new taxes for the middle class. Huh, Joe-bama? After all, according to these fools, 13 economists said so. There seems to be a small problem, though, folks. Who are those 13 economists these rats used? And by the way, $750 billion tax dollars. They could only find 13 economists to back up their bold spit. Because the very trusted Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan credible group whose main job is to score these bills, not just take the politicians' words for it, the CBO says that monstrosity will cost the middle-class families $20 billion. That's right, $20 billion of that bill will come from higher taxes on you and me. But that line right there in the White House's own website saying the opposite, the lying, these politicians, has no boundaries. So the president lies, his minions back up their lies, they find a few biased accountants, probably pay them off, and then sell this garbage as inflation reducing, like it's somehow going to come to the rescue. I'd like to interview those 13 economists and ask them exactly how does government spending nearly $1 trillion of borrowed or printed money reduce inflation? I mean, it was Joe-bama himself who blamed government spending on the rise of inflation in the first place earlier this year. So why would the Democrats think we're so stupid, so gullible, that we would fall for their icky, sticky, tricky game of calling the same thing they did before, the spending that they blamed and claimed caused inflation a few months ago, now reduces inflation? Why? Because they're dirty, rotten scoundrels, that's why. There's no other explanation. Got to call them out. That's my job. And how about old Mr. Zero?
I just want to say a number. 0. Today, we received news that our economy had 0% inflation in the month of July.
Oh, my God.
0%.
Really, Joe? This guy either brain dead or the sleaziest of sleazeball politicians. Zero, Joe? Since when is 8.5% the second worst reading in over 41 years, second only to the prior month's June reading? Since when is 8.5% zero? In dementia land, perhaps? I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the West Wing right now. Biden's chief of staff meeting with economists and KJP. Economists say, excuse me, sir, inflation overall is a massive 8.5% for July, the same as in June, and it remains elevated to levels we haven't seen in 40 years. Chief of Staff Ron Klain says, wait a minute, did you just say the same June as July? Economists, yes, sir. It stayed wildly elevated. People are struggling to pay their rent, buy food, gas up the car. Klain, but you said the same June, so like it didn't go up? Economists, well, sir, it's hard to go up from such a high elevated level in June. Klain gets quiet, thinking to himself. A big old devious grin comes on his face. Crooked face. Klain says, that's it. We'll tell the old man to say inflation was zero in July. He won't know the difference. He won't even know what it means. Hell, he barely remembers his cream of wheat this morning. Okay, Corinne, you make sure you follow up with a press briefing. Repeat that line, inflation is zero. Back it up with some nonsense, you know, how you always do. This is going to work, folks. The American people are too stupid to know any better. The room clears. Klain mumbles to himself, damn, I'm good. He won't know. The people won't know. Our friends at CNN and MSNBC and our new friends at Fox, they'll get behind us. Just hope that Bolling guy on balance doesn't start out with us. Then Klain yells down the hallway, hey, get me the IRS on the phone. Let's get them to audit Bolling. They owe us. We just got them $80 billion and 5 million rounds of ammo. Tell them we'll double it. 10 million rounds of ammo. Just audit Bolling now. Voice yells back, Mr. Klain, we already audit Bolling every year. Klain, all right, then send a couple guys with guns to his door. When he's at work, scare the living daylights out of his wife. You think it won't happen? Think again. And while we're on exposing the lies of this administration, have you seen the border numbers lately, folks? You know the border, that guy in charge of the border, Alejandro Mayorkas, Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security said the border was under control. Remember?
I was watching a news channel and they were talking about an invasion was happening, and I got a little concerned.
Look, the border is secure. The border, we are working to make the border more secure. That has been a historic challenge.
Oh, really? Well, look at this. Looks like for the second year in a row, folks, there will be over 2 million illegals invading America. 2 million in a single year. Again, well over 2 million. That's more than the entire population of the entire state of New Mexico. Remember that state. And get this, that's more than the populations of the states North Dakota and South Dakota combined. Said another way, under Joe-bama, there are more illegals coming into America and not being sent back than the state of New Mexico. Essentially, they're letting in a state of New Mexico's worth of illegals into our country every dang year. Are you paying attention yet? Are you?